Hi everybody, welcome to part 4. In this part we are going to continue with the extension of part 3 and we are going to set up the linkages correctly. So let's jump straight in. So if you remember from last video, when we press play we can press D and he walks right, okay, and then when we let go he's playing idle left, which he shouldn't really do. He should go back into an idle right state. When we press A on the keyboard he moves left. What's happening when he moves left, he is playing the idle left animation and he is flipped the wrong way. So we did look at this in session, we looked at fixing this. And what we need to consider, and I created the linkage in part 3 in the way I did purposely to get you to think about this a little bit. When we're in an idle right state, when we are walking towards the right walk, we are walking to the right, which is a positive x direction. So we're looking for a speed of greater than 0.1. So when we're in an idle left state and we're walking to the left, we are actually walking on a negative x direction. So we need to be thinking of this in terms of negative numbers. So when we're in an idle left state, we are looking for a speed of less than minus 0.1. As you know, in a negative number, anything less than minus 0.1 will be minus 0.2, minus 0.3, so on and so on. So we're going to actually change the speed condition from idle left to right to left, idle left to left walk. And we're going to change that to speed of less than minus 0.1. So when we're going back from left walk to idle left, we need to still employ these same negative numbers. So because from idle to walk, we were looking for a value of less than minus 0.1. From left walk to idle left, we are looking for a number of greater than minus 0.1. As you know, a value greater than a negative number will always be going back towards 0. So we need to think of it in that way. So when we have the other two transitions to do as well. So when we're looking from moving from idle right to left walk, we need to be looking for a speed of less than minus 0.1. And again, that is less than because we're working in negative numbers. And from idle left to right walk, we need to be looking for a speed of greater than 0.1. So now when I press play, when I move to the right, he walks right and he plays the idle right animation when I stop. When I move to the left, he moves okay and he plays the idle left animation, but there are some issues with the actual sprite. The sprite container is flipped in the wrong direction. What I'm going to do first though, as the character looks very small in the game view, I'm just going to adjust the size of my camera. So if I change the size to something like 2, when I go into game view, is a lot bigger so we can see him more clearly. So again, we're going to open up the code. From the previous video, I still have my mono develop window minimized in the bottom. What you can do is if you don't, just double click on the walk C# script in Unity and that will open for you. So when you've looked, if any of you have looked at the C# guidance document, which I recommend you do, you will realize that this section of the code here is looking for the key code of D to be pressed. Once it is pressed, it will transform the sprite to the right. So we're going to do that using something called a vector2. Again, you need to look at the C# guidance notes to understand what that means. And we have another bit of code in there called transform Euler angles. Don't worry about that too much, it is explained a little bit more and you can find that on the Unity website, but all you need to know for now is that depending on what direction we're moving in, that flips the sprite. So when we're looking at this part of code here, when we can see where it says input.getKey, key code A, that's looking for the key press of A, which is moving to the left. When we look at the Euler angles part of code, we can see that there are values here set to 0 and minus 180. So what that's doing, the way I've set up the code, it is flipping the sprite container completely when we're moving to the left. So it's moving it in the right way, but it's flipping it 180 degrees. So that's why we get the effect of the character walking backwards. So once that's changed, again, I'm going to go to build and build all. Just wait a few seconds for that. So that's, again there, build successful, so we know that's done. When I go back into the game and press play, I move to the right and walk. When I let go, it plays an idle right animation. When I move to the left, this time what's happening is playing the left animation, but he's moving in the wrong way. So as you can see, I'll stop that, press play again. When I press A to move left, it's playing the right animation, but the character is moving to the right. So again, we do need to make some more changes to this code. So it's mainly this section here that I've highlighted. Anything that says transform in front of it means a movement action. So we are using the vector 2 and we're moving that to the right. So as you know, when we're moving to the right, we are moving on a positive X direction. So there's an issue with this part of code here. It's detecting key code A. We know that because it's playing the left animation and we know the linkage is right. It's just not moving in the right way. So to rectify that, what we need to do is put a minus in front of where it says vector2.right there. So in the key code D, where it says vector2.right, that means it is moving the character to the right. Moving to the left, we need to move negative to the right. So we add in a minus there under vector2.right. That should fix it. So we go to build and click build all. That's done, so we can just minimize that window. Leave it open just in case we do need to make any more changes. And when we click play, we can see that straight away he's playing the idle right animation. That linkage is shown there in the animator window just below it. When we move to the right, he plays the right animation. When we let go, he walks, he just plays an idle right animation again. When we move to the left, he now walks to the left. When we let go of A, he plays the idle left animation. So that's all working correctly. So that's it for this part. Thanks very much for watching, and if you do have any questions relating anything, please let me know on the Facebook group or come and ask me some questions when we're in sessions next week. Thanks guys.